So I've gotten a ton of requests to do a video about finances. Now, I know nobody joins the military just for the money, but it is a really nice perk to always know that you're gonna have money in the bank. I'm gonna start off at the very basic level at boot camp. So when you go to boot camp, you don't think at all about how do I get paid, how much money do I have in the bank right now. Believe it or not, you're getting paid while you're at boot camp. That 3 months of hell, you're actually racking up that private pay. So the people around you are all either a private or a PFC, so you're making about the same amount of money. It's a couple of $100s. And for a lot of these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, they come out and they have like 3 or 4 grand sitting there, and to them, that's a lot of money. So while you're at boot camp, they explain to you what a TSP is, and basically that's your retirement. It's what percent of your paycheck will go into your retirement. The trick to the TSP is to put a percentage of your paycheck into it that you won't really miss, and really you're not gonna see it anyway. So when my paycheck comes in every month, I don't even see that money. I don't even realize it's gone, but it is. It's going away to my TSP for my retirement and just gonna keep compounding and sitting there. So years down the road, when I would like to retire, I have all this money just sitting there that's been slowly funneling out of my paychecks. Now the trick to the TSP is to pick a percentage of your paycheck that you're not really gonna miss. So I would say anywhere between 5 to 11% is pretty good. So I picked about 7%, right in the middle. So 7% of my paycheck gets taken out without me even seeing it and put into my TSP. Now while at admin, they also ask you what bank would you like. Now there's 2 banks that Marines can choose from. There's Pacific Marine and Navy Federal. Now I can't endorse either of these banks, and I'm not here to. But let me tell you right now, out of probably the 90 kids in my boot camp platoon, I would say 89 chose Navy Federal, and maybe 1 person chose Pacific Marine. I would say about 99% of all Marines will choose Navy Federal just because they've got a lot of branches, their customer service is amazing. I can go on and on and on. Like I said, I'm not endorsing any of these banks, but the safe bet is Navy Federal. Anyone will tell you that. Your drill instructors aren't supposed to tell you which bank to choose, but they'll lean towards Navy Fed. So like I was saying, you're at boot camp, you're getting paid, but you don't really realize it until you graduate and you go home on that 10 days of glorious boot leave, and all of a sudden I've got $2,000, $3,000 sitting in my bank account, and you're just making it rain. Pay is dictated by what rank you are. So if you're a PFC, you're going to be making a lot less money than a staff sergeant or a gunnery sergeant. So obviously, the longer you're in, the more rank you'll pick up, the more money you get. And I think it's a pretty fair system. The best part about getting paid in the military is 100% on the 1st and the 15th of each month, you will have money in your bank account. That is something that not every job has. There are people that get laid off from their jobs, there's government jobs that get furloughed, and for those people, they don't know if they're gonna get their paycheck or not. But for the military, you're always gonna have that money in your bank account, guaranteed. Okay, so you're 18 years old and you're getting paid all of this money now. The first thing I know you're gonna wanna do is to buy a car. Hold on. Marines are notorious for making dumb decisions and buying expensive cars with a lot of interest. Bases have car dealerships around them just because they wanna rip off Marines. They will sell a car to a Marine for $14,000, but they'll have like 25% interest on it, knowing full well that these privates and private first classes and lance corporals can't pay that money back. Okay, well, why do they do that? They know just as well as you do that on the 1st and 15th of every month, you're gonna have money in your bank account. So they're gonna go to your staff sergeant or your gunnery sergeant and they're gonna say, hey, PFC Schmuckatelli here is not paying his car loans, and then they will make you pay out of your bank account. That is why these loan sharks try to get these Marines to sign up on these crazy interest loans. That's why you have to be really careful when you buy a car. In my opinion, you should wait until you get to the fleet. So wait until MOS school is over, because guess what? You're not gonna be able to use your car anyway. Because when you go to MOS school, you don't just have random liberty and can go out at any time. You're not even allowed to have a car there. So just wait a little bit longer. When it finally comes time to buy a car, talk to your staff NCO for advice, and if you have Navy Federal, you can actually go in and they will give you a recommendation list of good buyers in the area. They could even come to the lot with you to help you buy your car, just to make sure you're not getting ripped off. When I was a Lance Corporal, I bought a 2008 Ford Focus, a very modest car, and I think I spent about $12,000. Of that $12,000, I took out a $10,000 loan from Navy Federal, and I think I've paid about $9,000 back of it. So It's very doable to find a good car that will last you a long time and still get a responsible loan. Let's back it up a little bit. You're fresh out of boot camp, you're on that boot leave, or you're just at your MOS school. You have all this money sitting there and you're really bored on the weekend. Now, it's very typical for Marines to go out during MOS school on the weekend and go out to the mall. And they'll get a brand new backpack, a sweet pair of Oakleys, a new shirt, new pants. They'll spend their entire paycheck in just those 2 days alone. It is so important to budget your money, whether you write it down or you see a financial planner on base, or you go to your bank and you say, hey, I need help budgeting my money. They'll sit down and help you. They'll write out a plan and everything. When you really sit down to budget, you should think about everything from the car payments all the way down to the little things like the video games you buy. Because at the end of the year, those small purchases make a huge difference. I think the big downfall for a lot of Marines is that they like to impulse buy. I've seen Marines buy the stupidest crap just because they got $4,000 sitting in the bank and they're like, eh, easy come, easy go. Well, that brings me to my next point, is that life happens. Do not impulse buy, especially when you're a brand new Marine. It's so easy to go out in town with all your buddies and get a big old Eagle Globe and Anchor tattoo across your chest and spend $4,000 on it, and then the next day you can't even afford food. I created a savings account when I was a PFC, and I put about 3/4 of every paycheck into that savings account, give or take a little bit paying off my car. So I have that savings account there and I do not touch it. Even if the sky is falling, the world is ending, do not touch that until you absolutely need to. Now some of you are gonna be like, wait, that's my money. I can spend it however I want. Well, there's one little thing that people forget, and it's that the Marine Corps has PFCs and Lance Corporals just like you running the admin shops, and they're the ones that are responsible for giving you the money. So I've had it where I've been looking through, and oh, I'm not getting paid enough. I brought it to the admin shop. I wasn't getting paid for an entire year the right amount of money. I was actually getting underpaid. So they did something called back paying, and they gave me all that money back. But the reverse can also happen. I had a sergeant once that was getting overpaid by, I think, $1,000 a month for about 2 years. Even though it's the Marine Corps' mistake that they were overpaying that sergeant, even though he's got a wife, 2 kids, house payment, car payments, they don't care. It's their mistake that they were overpaying him, but the second they found out that they were doing that, they took all that money back. You get a thing called a leave and earnings statement, which tells you how much you're getting paid every month. Be sure to check that every month. I check mine every single month to make sure, okay, I'm getting this amount of money, I am an E4, I'm good to go. But if you're getting $5,000 and you're a PFC, you better go to your admin shop as soon as you can. Do not spend any money until you talk to your admin shop, because they will take that money back. Okay, it's not all that bad. Typically, your pay does not get messed up. It can happen, but what about the times that you actually get paid more money? When you go on a trip for work, or TAD, you get paid extra money called per diem. So say you go on a trip, you go on TAD, you get paid per diem. And basically what per diem is how much it costs to live there for the time you're there. So say I go to Arkansas for a week, and I go in like the boondocks, okay? I'll probably get paid a couple dollars for food, a couple dollars for lodging. Not a big deal, but it's a nice amount of money. But if I were to go to New York City, I would get paid way more money for my hotel, for food, for the cost of living there, all of that stuff. So if you go to TAD for a month, you could be racking up a really nice paycheck. You also get paid a lot more money when you deploy. I mean, when you think about it, you could be out there for 8 months, 9 months. You're not spending money to begin with, really. And you're getting paid extra money because you're on deployment. So when you come back, you can have as much as like $20,000 just sitting there in the bank. If you're married, you get what's called BAH. And BAH kind of works the way per diem works. So it varies from place to place. So if you're in Washington, D.C., you'll get paid a higher rate of living than you would if you were, say, in North Carolina, just because it costs more money to live in DC. Now what BAH is it's your basic housing allowance. So that's considering that you have to pay for your house, provide for a spouse, all that stuff kind of factors in. So that's where BAH comes from, and that's only for the married people. Now if you're a single Marine, you also technically get paid BAH, but you never see it. It goes to the barracks people. So if you're a Marine right now and your washer's broken, or your door's broken, or your heating won't work, go to the barracks manager and demand that they fix it, because technically you're paying for that. So if they're not fixing that stuff, then your BAH money is going to waste. And finally, if you go into any formal schooling or training, say you go to jump school or you go on to follow-on courses for your MOS, you'll get paid extra money to do that. I'm actually really glad that everybody wanted me to make a video about finances because it's so important. So please, please, please ask questions. I'll comment back. Comment below.